Now what happened to this? Okay, on lost time execution, test ng test. It is very slow. Okay. Again, timeout has been displayed. Okay. Let it run. Let us see what results it gets us. We will talk about something called handling our popups. Okay, there is a thing called AutoIT which we need to learn. Okay, AutoIT is again the error. Okay, let us leave it for some time. It again comes with timeout error. Let us go and see what an AutoIT is. Okay, it is a program which is having a basic like syntax. Okay, basic like syntax through which we can automate simple processes. Okay, right now we are going to record a scenario with our Selenium IDE, which asks password in a pop-up window. Okay, which will ask password in a pop-up window, and we are going to execute it again to see what happens. Okay, now let me open Firefox. As we require to record the scenario, I'm opening Firefox right now. Control Alt yes, which will open my IDE window with recording mode. I'm going to give my base URL as an FTP location. Okay, this is going to be my FTP location. I'll copy it and paste it. Okay, and then start recording. If I try to open this FTP server, it will require a username and password from me like this. Okay, if it asks a username and password, I'm going to provide it as Selenium. Okay, this is what the username and password I have. I'm trying to record a scenario with my FTP server, and I'm getting a window which requires and which demands the username and password. I'm going ahead with clicking on OK. The moment I say OK by providing username and password, I'm seeing a window which contains what are all the items which are present there. I'm getting into a folder, okay, and then I'm clicking on a notepad file. Fine, this is what happened now. I'm getting back to my IDE and then I'm stopping my recording. This is what I got recorded. This is what I got recorded. I want to execute it again. I want this to be executed again. So I'm going to execute it from IDE itself. What I'm going to do is I'm going to execute it from IDE itself. Let me clear my cache. Let me clear my cache and then execute. Okay, so the moment I click on execute, it tries to open the FTP, but it waits for the username and password. Follow me carefully. It waits for the username and password because providing the username and password is not being recorded in the script. Is not being recorded in the script. How do I do that? If a situation arises like this in one of the web application I do, what happens to me? How do I execute this scenario? Because opening the FTP is not only the line, other than that I have two more lines. I need to open a folder and then I need to click on a notepad file. If both the two lines are not passing, I cannot say that my test case is executed correctly. So let us try to use AutoIT now. Okay, AutoIT can be downloaded from a website. Okay, they have their own site. Let me open it now. It is a very simple programming language with basic like syntax. It has its own editor also. Okay, so this is the site from which you can download AutoIT and practice your development. It is very simple to use. I'm typing this in questions window. Okay, I'll send it as in chat window to all audience. I have sent the link. Now I'm opening the AutoIT which is installed in my system. I'm going to click on the script editor, okay, so that it opens the script editor. I'm going to write a piece of code, a very simple piece of code, okay, through which I can mitigate the risk of having the dialog box always open. So first I'm naming the window, what exactly the window it needs to look for, and then I'll say once it finds the window, this is what the username it needs to send, and then once the username is sent, it needs to send a tab key. So once the tab key is sent, it can move to the password. These are obvious lines, so I'm not correlating, going back to the window and saying everything. Okay, you can understand it more clearly, because whenever you type the FTP URL, you are required to input an username and password. So when the dialog box opens, by default the cursor is placed in my username text box. So first, after identifying the active window by its name, I am starting to input my values. I am saying send Selenium, and then send a tab key, and then again send password. Again it is Selenium. We close the window, and then last thing I'll say send enter. Okay, this is going to be my code. I'm going to save this code. I'm going to save this code as provide credentials. I just named this code as provide creds. It is getting saved as .au3. I do not want to care about its extension because it is only the application which I need. Okay, once it is saved, I need to compile it. I'm going to tools and say compile. I did not get any errors, and the time it took for is 0.03 seconds. Fine. Let me go to my folder where I can find this exe. See this exe, that is one program, and there is one exe called provide CRUDs. Okay, this is the application which I need to use. Now follow the steps carefully. I am going to double click this application. The moment I do, a program will start running in our memory. Okay, see this one. Where my mouse pointer is pointing, it says provide CRUDs.exe is being executed now. It is still in memory and waiting for my dialog box to be located. Okay, coming back to Selenium IDE, execute it now. Now the moment I execute, it will identify the authentication required window and it will start inputting parameters for username and password. Clicking on start. See, did you notice what happened? The moment the authentication required window was displayed, and you will not find this exe in taskbar now because it has been executed. So whenever it is in memory, it will always look for what we have programmed it. Okay, it will look for authentication required pop-up window. Once it finds it, it will complete the tasks like sending the username, sending the tab key, sending the password, and sending enter. Now let us move this to Selenium. Let me clear my cache, because I am clearing my cache, because if I once provide the FTP username and password, it will always be in memory. Let us move this code. I am saying file, export test case as Java testng remote control, and I am saying it as my ftp.java. Any name which you can provide. Name is provided. Here it is. Here is the code. Edit with Notepad++. So this code needs to be given to Eclipse. One more program. New class file. FTP test. Class file is created. Copy the code and paste it. Okay, it will always say the references are missing. Fine. Copy the import files which are needed and the methods. At before class and at after class. Where is after class? Here it is. Copy and then paste. Now Selenium is still displayed as a problem. I'll say extends Selenium test base and public Selenium. Sorry. Okay. Now the code is in place. We need to execute this. We are going to execute that scenario. But we all know that it will start the program and it will wait for the input. Now let us execute it and see what happens. Right click, say run as, and then say testng. It will open my FTP and it will wait for my input. Remember, AutoIT is still not injected into my program. AutoIT code, the application, is still not injected into my Java program, so it demands me username and password and it will wait forever, or say it will close after 30 seconds as it times out. Okay. Now before it times out, I know that this is what is going to happen, so I am cancelling my activity. I'm stopping my server and then making the necessary change in my code. Okay, I'm going to say this is the line through which I can inject my code. Okay, I'm saying exec. Inside that I will refer the program's location. So provide creds.exe, control C, sorry, and provide creds.exe, control C. I'm coming back here, pasting it. Okay, and then I'm changing my slash to this, because this is how the slash works with Java programming. You need to provide / in the place of /. Done. Now the same program is going to be executed. Okay, right click and say run as, and then test ng. See, did you notice what happened? It directly provided the username and password, and it has moved to the next level. So that is how I inject my code. Okay, now the program is stalling anyway. Let it complete first. Okay, but whatever the motto we have required for AutoIT, we are able to do it. Okay, we are able to have our code in place, create it as an application, and injected that application into my code. Okay, fine, it is time out. I do not see how it times out. Let me say, I'm commenting my 2 lines. I click FTP test, say run as, test ng. Whenever the exe is executed, it loads itself into memory. Okay, now the program is clean. There may be a problem with the identification of first notepad.txt. I do not want to care about that, because the program which I created now works for AutoIT perfectly. Okay, so the test has been passed right now. Now let us try the custom reporting once again. So we started executing it, but there were timeout errors. Okay, let me right click and say run as, and say test ng. Let it run. Yes, Hernandez, it will work even the window is not maximized, because whatever the program you are trying to run, it will always highlight the window which it is working on. So AutoIT searches for that program. It will always stay in memory until its job is complete. Now I think we will see a good result in custom reporting. We will see a lot of entries as this one runs good. Okay, just the moment I said it threw an error. Fine. One thing had a problem, advanced search had a problem. Okay. Okay. Okay, fine. So reports this is how we generate. I, this is the code through which it gets generated. Now I had something to do with this test ng. Okay, let me test for this parallel execution. Parallel is equal to tests and thread count is equal to 20. Okay, save, Control-C, and then execute my testng.xml document. Right now the testng is configured with parallel tests. Okay, it still executes in one single window. So still now clear? Do you have any questions to ask? I think we almost covered all the important concepts with Selenium. You can ask if you have any questions. Hernandez, these videos have been sent to the concerned persons. You may have to ask them. Till the third webinar I have sent everything. You may have to ask your contact person. So to summarize, AutoIT code is entered. Code is created, saved, and compiled to an .exe format. Whenever this .exe is executed, it stays in memory until its job is complete. As in our scenario, it waited for the authentication required pop-up to show, and then it gives the username and password as input. After that, it terminates. Okay. Oh, good. Both the test cases are executed successfully. Fine. So that is what we have learned today. So questions? Any questions? So is everything clear? Can you raise your hand? Good, good. I can see a lot of hands rising. Good. Okay, okay. Good. Thank you.